The UAE has launched Arab world's first Mars mission. It was actually supposed to be launched on the 15th of July this year, but it was postponed due to weather. The country actually put its first astronaut into space just 10 months ago, and now it has launched its Mars mission. What is the reason behind this mission? How long is this mission? And what are the other countries that are ready to launch their Mars missions? We'll see the answers for these questions in this episode. Weather plays an important role in many space missions. Many rocket launches have been delayed because of weather, so this delay is actually not that big a deal. Now let's see about the technical details and other details about this Mars mission by UAE. The name of this Mars mission by UAE is Amal, which means hope. This mission has a probe that is being sent to Mars to study the climatic conditions and the climatic changes of Mars. This probe will be the first ever probe to send a clear picture of the atmosphere of Mars. HOPE probe will study the dynamics of the Martian atmosphere. It is the first true weather satellite at Mars that will provide a complete view of the atmosphere of Mars and help to answer key questions such as why Mars loses its hydrogen and oxygen gases into space. HOPE probe will study the weather system of Mars, monitoring weather changes throughout the day across the planet and during all seasons for the very first time. It will observe weather phenomena such as dust storms as well as changes in temperature and atmosphere that will reveal the causes of Martian surface corrosion. Moreover, it will monitor the distribution of hydrogen and oxygen in the upper portions of Mars's atmosphere and study the link between weather changes in the lower atmosphere with losses of hydrogen and oxygen in the upper atmosphere. This process actually may have been responsible for the transition of Mars over billions of years from a thick atmosphere capable of sustaining liquid water on the surface to present cold, thin and arid atmosphere. The launch date of Al-Amal was in the so-called launch window. This launch window was determined by the opening of a 1-month window in which the Earth and Mars are in alignment on the same side of the Sun, and this position minimizes travel time and fuel use. Such a window opens only once every 26 months. The HOPE probe is a compact spacecraft whose overall size and weight is comparable to a small car. It weighs 1500 kg when fueled. It measures 2.37 meters wide and 2.9 meter long, and it is 3 by 7.9 meter when the two solar panels are stretched wide open. It has two solar panel wings fixed to the top platform that will provide 600 watts to charge batteries of the spacecraft. It has a 1.5 meter high gain directional dish antenna to allow communication rates of 1.6 Mbps at the minimum Earth-Mars distance to 250 kbps at its furthest point. There are also 3 low-gain antennas. HOPE probe actually blasted off from Earth aboard a launcher rocket which detached and accelerated deep into space. Propulsion is provided by 4 to 6 120 Newton thrusters which are mounted on the bottom of the spacecraft, while positional and orientation knowledge is provided by star trackers and coarse sun sensors. HOPE probe is expected to collect more than 1000 GB of new data which will be shared with more than 200 academic and scientific institutions around the world for free. And substantial geophysical evidence suggests that Mars was once a much warmer and more humid world with a lot of liquid water on its surface that would have been optimal for some form of life to evolve. By studying the connection between current Martian weather and the ancient climate of the red planet, scientists will have deeper insights into the past and future of Earth as well as the potential of life for human settlement on Mars and other planets. Scientists will understand the weather and learn how Mars lost some of its atmosphere over billions of years of its planetary history. So how long is this mission exactly? Even at the speed of 1,21,000 km per hour, the probe will take about 200 days to reach the atmosphere of Mars. Mars rotates on its axis, completing one rotation every 24.6 hours. Martian days are called sols, which is short for solar day. Hope probe will orbit Mars for one whole Martian year that lasts 669.6 sols, which is equivalent to 687 Earth days or about 2 Earth years. It will be a 495 million kilometer journey to reach and orbit Mars. Hope probe is expected to enter Mars's orbit in February next year, and the date may coincide with the Golden Jubilee celebrations of United Arab Emirates. Then this probe will have 2 years of science operations beginning May 2021 with a possibility of extending until 2025. Now let's see how this probe was built. This probe was built with the help of 150 Emirati engineers who collaborated with American engineers and scientists at 3 US universities, and those 3 universities are University of Colorado, University of California, Berkeley and Arizona State University. It costed around 200 million US dollars for this probe to be built, which is actually less when compared to other similar programs. The Mohammed bin Rashid Space Center, which is in Dubai, has been responsible for the execution and supervision of all stages of the design, development and launch of the spacecraft, while the UAE Space Agency is funding and supervising all procedures. The probe actually carries the UAE Nation brand's logo and its accompanying slogan, "Make it happen." I told you that just before 10 months, UAE sent its first astronaut to the space. Then how come it was possible for the nation to put up an entire Mars mission so soon? Well, the answer is the Mars mission has been under development for the past 6 years. Now let's see the timeline of the probe. In the year 2014, the announcement of the mission was made, and the next year, that is in the year 2015, preliminary design was made. In 2016, review of the design was done, and in the year 2017, critical design review was done, and in 2018, development and assembly was done. In 2019, the testing was done. 2020, the launch and cruising was done. In 2021, the Mars orbit and science operations will be done until 2023, and in 2024, the extended science operations will be done. How this Amal probe will study the Mars? This part will be quite technical, so please bear with me. Hope probe will study the Martian atmosphere from an orbit of 20,000 km periapsis. Periapsis is the point which is nearest to the body of its orbits, and the probe will orbit at 43,000 km apoapsis. Apoapsis is the high point in an orbit. This probe has an orbital period of 55 hours and an orbital inclination of 25. No other Mars spacecraft has had such an orbit. Most spacecrafts orbit at a single local time that allows the atmosphere to be measured at only one time of day, but Hope will do this for the entire Martian year. 3 advanced scientific instruments are mounted on Hope probe that will work simultaneously to observe Mars atmosphere. Emirates Exploration Imager, or the EXI, which is a multi-band camera that will capture 12 megapixel resolution pictures of Mars and study the planet's lower atmosphere. It will also measure the distribution of water ice and ozone in the lower atmosphere utilizing the ultraviolet bands. Next is Emirates Mars Infrared Spectrometer, or the EMIRS. This will observe Mars in the infrared band and measure the optical depth of dust, ice clouds and water vapor in the atmosphere. It will also measure the temperature of the surface and the lower atmosphere of Mars. Then there is an Emirates Mars Ultraviolet Spectrometer, or the EMAS, which will study the upper atmosphere of Mars through the far ultraviolet wavelengths. It will determine the distribution of carbon monoxide and oxygen in the thermosphere. EMAS will also measure the distribution of oxygen and hydrogen in the exosphere of Mars. Unmanned missions to Mars began in the 1960s, and there have been 56 such missions so far. Only 26 of those were successful, and currently there are 8 active Mars missions. Let's see the names of some of the earlier Mars missions now. There There are 7 confirmed missions including Amal through the year 2024, and there are at least a dozen more until the mid-2040s. Here are the details of some of those missions which are yet to be launched. Why is United Arab Emirates sending its spacecraft to Mars now? For this question, the nation has said that it wants to help mankind by making new discoveries. But we all know that any country with such a strong space program plans a Mars mission only to show its strength to the rest of the world. Mars is the second smallest planet in the solar system and the 4th planet from the Sun. Other than Earth, Mars is the most explored planet in our solar system. Mars is also called the red planet because it appears in the sky as an orange-red star. But the planet's appearance is actually due to the rust in the Martian rocks. Did Mars have life once? What is the climate history of Mars? Is Mars the next destination for humans? Human beings have been pondering over these fundamental questions for a long time now, and Mars missions are planned in a way to find answers for these questions. Stay connected with us for more such updates.